This is the Because Fiction podcast, where we chat about all things Christian fiction. I'm your host, author, and insatiable reader, Shatona Havoc. And guys, we have with us a new to me, this is like the, 6th or 7th in a row, new to me author. I'm loving this. This is so much fun. I haven't seen much about this book. I've read the synopsis, is all I know. I don't really know much, but that's okay, because Meg Calvin is here to tell us all about her book, There He Holds Her. It's coming out June 9th. And she's got fun stuff to tell us about it and all the things. So welcome, Meg. And I have finally spelled your name right. So there you go.
It's a win. It's just like John Calvin, although John and I wouldn't align on all things theology.
Well, he and I wouldn't align on all things either. And I don't think you and I align on all things. But that doesn't matter. Whatever. But it's my nephew's name. The least I could do is spell it right. But no, I wanted that I to go everywhere but where it belongs, because fingers. I just don't understand. Oh goodness. Okay, so is this your debut novel, or is this just a new novel? I did not look that up. I don't know why.
Yes, this is my third book and my debut novel. So I've written a work of nonfiction, and then a memoir, and then and now this. And I've had the honor and privilege the past 6 years of being a writing and marketing coach. So I've served 73 authors one-on-one in writing their books, but this is my third by myself. Yeah.
Excellent. So debut novel is always fun to talk about. So my first question then, why this book first?
Yes. I wanted to selfishly write the book that I would love to read. My favorite books to read are spiritual and theology books. And also, I love to read books that feel like rom-coms. My favorite author is Erin La Rosa, for fiction writer. And she used to write for Funny or Die. And she is also a romance writer. So it is hilarious literature. And so other writing icons are Phoebe Waller-Bridge, if I'm saying that right, or is it Bridges? The one that wrote Fleabag and Crashing, Mindy Kaling, Tina Fey, Amy Poehler. So I have this deep admiration for writers that can bring light into the darkness with humor without sugarcoating the traumatic and darker times of life. So I thought, could I combine a romance novel with a book that's also theological and spiritual? Could the protagonist be a female pastor, and it also have sensuality in the book? And it is done 3 years later, and I accomplished that. But the other reason I did it was I wanted to help high achieving women come back home to their bodies and listen to their bodies and trust their bodies and trust their desires as safe, because so many of us high achieving women are people pleasers or perfectionists. So I wanted to use fiction as a Trojan horse for transformation, which so many fiction books are that anyway.
Right.
And, but that was my goal. I knew that a lot of high achieving women have read all the books on team dynamics and personality tests and all the self-care hacks and all the books. We've read them all, nonfiction how-to books. It's like, what would it look like if self-care was as enjoyable as a romance novel? So this it breaks the rules of the genre of romance. So it's not that technically it's considered upmarket women's fiction, but there is a thread of romance in it.
So, romantic women's fiction. Got it.
Yeah.
That works, Well, it's really interesting because so often, I am that awkward, annoying person. This is going to shock absolutely nobody. But I am that person that, the sink faucet spurts water all over the kitchen. I slip and fall and break my ankle, and I am sitting there on the floor cracking up. I'm fine. To me, it's the most hilarious thing in the world. And my husband is staring at me like, you have lost your ever-loving mind. The house is a mess, and how on earth am I going to get you to the hospital? You know what I mean? And I'm just over here dying because it's funny. It is just, and if you can't see humor in those moments, you're going to go crazy.
Yes.
So I was kind of cracking up even in Scotland with my I messed up my ankle and my knee
Oh
in a
no.
pothole in Scotland on vacation, and I'm sitting there and I was trying so hard not to laugh because I'm actually also trying to figure out how on earth, if I got one ankle and one knee on each leg, how am I going to stand? I don't know what there's nothing I can. What am I going to do? I don't know. And so I'm trying to think of it, but the entire time my shoulders are shaking and I'm doing everything I can not to laugh because it's just so ludicrous.
Because you were on vacation, you were meant to be resting.
Right. This is one way to ensure. I was thinking, I need to take more time to just sit and relax and just enjoy being here. And God said, okay, okay, I'm not blaming God for this, guys. My theology isn't that messed up. But you know what I mean? If it's going to
Yeah,
happen,
yeah,
we'll do it
yeah.
here instead, you know?
Mhm,
Yeah. So
mhm.
it was great. But again, you laugh. And I think about police officers and doctors, both. They have their cop and their doc humors. It's dark humor, but it with all that they go through and all that they see, if they can't laugh at it, they're
Right.
gonna go insane.
Oh, so true.
So I love the fact that
Yes.
you said let's deal with some of these issues by making the funny parts of them come out and shine so that
Mhm.
we can kind of see the dark parts and deal with them. That's pretty cool.
Yes. Yes, I love it. Makes me think of that quote from the comedian Chris Hardwick that said, "If we laugh at it, we take its power away."
Yeah, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
it's exactly it. It's just I love it. Anyway, okay. So now that I've found out why you wrote this one first, because I'm always asking these awkward questions. Um,
I
because
love it.
Shatona, yeah, it's me. So w- what is this book? What are we going to see in this book? Who are the characters? All the things. What is the story?
Yes. So imagine The Secret Life of Bees meets The Notebook, but the protagonist is a female pastor who has a massive spiritual awakening through these unexplainable mystical experiences that seminary did not prepare her for. There He Holds Her is a novel for every woman who did the quote right thing and spent the next 30 years wondering what her life would have looked like if she hadn't. It follows two women across these three generations of time. So Vivian, a Texas girl in 1979, who is valedictorian and finds peace in numbers and coding and doing math, and people are too loud for her. And she has a very controlling mom. And through this web of manipulation, she doesn't even see coming. She is separated from her best friend, the love of her life. We then, as it's a dual timeline novel, we leave 1979 in chapter 1, and by chapter 2 we're in 2018, and this is the female pastor, Reverend Hetty Stone, who is Vivian's daughter. And Hetty is, in a sense, starting to notice that possibly some stories she's inherited about her family are not true. And she is running to be bishop, the first bishop of her denomination. And that's when we first meet her. She has this massive goal that she is running toward. And I'm catching myself from giving spoilers away. But she is starting to question these stories that have been running her entire life about her identity, about her body, about her desires, her goals, whose goals are they? And so I always say, if you grew up in the church, if you've ever silenced your own voice to keep the peace, or if you felt the pull of something true that the people around you kept telling you was dangerous, this book was written for you. So it touches on themes of generational trauma, on spiritual authority, and the courage it takes to reclaim a stolen life.
Okay, okay. This is interesting because it's one of those things where I'm gonna be as raw and real here because I can't be anybody else. Okay,
Totally,
the minute I
totally.
hear the minute I hear a woman trying to become a bishop in a church, I have this moment where I catch my breath and I'm like, okay, all right, okay, I can do this, because I have read books that I've enjoyed that have had this thing that I struggle with, and I'm like, not so sure about that, but some of the books that I have read that have had these elements in them, like Sharon Garlow Brown's Sensible Shoes. She has a female pastor in there. The church sends her on a forced sabbatical, and she has to basically deal between her and the Lord on a lot of things. And
Mm.
it was really good because when I got done reading that book, as someone who has trouble with the idea of a female pastor can read that book and walk away from it going, you know what? That's what she's trying to show, that this isn't a good thing. Someone who believes that this is the best thing for churches and is 100% behind it is going to walk away from that book and go, "Yep, that's exactly why that's where women need to be." And I was fascinated by the fact that I saw both of those in the same book. And I'm like, "Whoa." So, I'm hearing about this Hetty and she wants to be this bishop, and my initial instinct is, okay, all right, I can do this. And then I think about that book by Sharon, and I'm like, okay, now I got to read this. Shatona has issues. Okay, this surprises again nobody.
So I'm hearing you say that the idea of a female in a spiritual leadership role feels odd to you?
It's a very uncomfortable for me. It's not how I see scripture. But that doesn't mean A, that I can't learn from it, right? And it
Mm.
also means B, that I'm not right. And it also means C, that I'm not wrong. I don't know. But now, thanks to I'm really grateful to Sharon Garlow Brown for writing that book, because it took me out of an automatic, I'm not going to read that because that doesn't align with what I believe, into a, I need to look at this for what it says, not what I'm assuming it says, because I did that once upon a time with this little series called Harry Potter that was supposed to be teaching people how to become witches and wizards, and that's what they're sending these poor little children off to do. Yeah, that's not the story. That is not that story. But that is what I was told it was, and so I didn't want anything to do with it, and then I found out how wrong I was, and so you know what? I'm glad I had that experience because now I can look at this book and go, "Okay, I want to know what's in here. I want to understand, even if I walk away still disagreeing with it, I now have a better understanding of why someone agrees with it. This is gonna be a good thing." Does that make sense?
I honor your openness and curiosity.
I don't know if that's honorable or dishonorable. It's just I want to know, but I can't lie and pretend like I'm not going, okay, this is going to be different because Shatona and I am who I am. I can't pretend to be anybody else. Yeah.
Yeah. What denomination were you raised under?
We moved all over the place, so I went wherever the church was, and so I have a lot of Baptist, Church of Christ, not a lot of non-denominational, because where we lived is where I went because it's what I had.
Yeah, yeah. Church of Christ comes up in this book. Yeah, that's one of the main
Oh, that's gonna
denominations.
be fun. So are we
Yes.
talking Church of Christ or are we talking United Church of Christ?
Church of Christ. We're talking no instruments, no color on the
Awesome.
windows. Yeah.
Awesome. Okay, that's going to be fun. If I wasn't already going to read the book, I am now. I think I got to see it. I got to know what we do with this thing because I have strong love for the churches of Christ. And there are areas I completely and totally disagree with them. And then there were areas that they had some serious problems, especially during the late 80s, early 90s. There was some terrible stuff that happened in the whole Boston movement thing that was just horrible. And I still haven't seen a good book that addressed it.
Wow. That's really helpful that they're writing about it.
Yeah,
It stinks that it's not helpful.
yeah, I'm really looking for someone to address that whole Boston movement and what it did. I know someone who lived through it, but that's not what she's going to write. And I'm like, "Ugh, I want someone to write about that." Anyway, I'm fine. So okay, so we have Hetty and her mother Vivian.
Right. Yep.
And Hetty is going to find out that what she thinks she knows about her life isn't all accurate. Did I get that right?
Correct. Yes. Yes.
Oh, boy. Isn't that just how many of us have had our lives? There have been things that when I do remember my uncle telling me something about my father when I had just had my third child, and I was like, "You've wait, how did I make it to 21 and I did not know this about dad?" I mean, we're talking major family. I mean, not even family. We're talking major stuff, period. And I'm like,
Mm,
how did I make it to 21 without knowing this huge thing about my dad?
right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I love
that's
it when
that's
books do that.
exactly. Yes, it's did you sit with the
Oh,
information when you first got it? Did it make
I
sense?
and the here's the interesting thing. I found out when I was 21. My dad died when I was 52, 3. I never mentioned it to him, not once,
Wow.
right?
Wow.
Yeah. It
Yeah.
They're just some things you can't talk about with some people. And
Mhm.
he is one of those, and that is one of those things. But I'm still just, like, blown away, even to this
Mhm.
day, I mean, it does not fit the man that I know. But on the other hand, because I am that annoying person that can see both sides of an issue equally at the same time, and they're totally conflicting, on the other hand, it is absolutely my father, 100%.
Mhm. Mhm.
Yeah, so
Yes.
weird. Anyway,
Yes.
s
Yes, that is similar to the journey that Hetty takes. Yes,
I
in
love
regards
it.
to yes, yes. So she's built her whole life on discipline and denial and then her Aunt Moira dies and all of her plans unravel and this alluring stranger shows up at her church at the church office who has absolutely no interest in who she's supposed to be or if she's running for bishop and then old family secrets start to surface that were not intended to be heard and the dead feel close and dreams bleed into waking life and to move forward Hetty must face what women in her family were taught to sacrifice and reckon with the possibility that love grief and the divine don't always show up the way the church said they would.
And when you consider how you can pretty much walk into this is one of the problems and amazing things too, good and bad, both at the same time with the church. I can walk into almost any building in my town, and we are a town full of churches. I can walk into almost any one and ask about any of these things, and I'm going to get a different answer, and often straight from scripture.
Mm, that's true. That's true.
It's so
Yeah.
strange, and I'm not saying that they're out there trying to deceive people, that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying that when we sit down and we read the scriptures, if we aren't reading all of it, for one thing, then we're going to miss out on some of it. We have our little pet scriptures that we like, that we hold on to, that we cling to, and or even ideas that, okay, here, guys, those of you in the churches of Christ, just know I love you to pieces, and this is part of my heart, okay? But I have to say it. We also cling to things that as if they were scripture, like we have no creed but Christ.
Mm, mhm.
We speak where the Bible speaks, and we're silent where the Bible's silent. We treat them as if they are scripture, even though they are not. And that it's not just the churches of Christ, it's just the one that I know. Okay. Guys, again, mercy. I'm not trying to attack. I love the churches of Christ, but it's in there and it is part of the thing. But if you go into buildings, every church has their area that they're focused on, and you can ask the same question and get the same answers through the same Bible, but they aren't the same answers, and it's
Mhm.
fascinating. And so, when she says, it doesn't show up the way the church said it would, well, which fam branch of that family tree were they walking into? And you
Mm.
can have a pretty good idea of what the answer is going to be. It's kind of fascinating.
Yes. Yes. All these different flavors of Christian ice cream dying on different hills.
Right? And we all do it, okay? And I'm not saying it's right, and I'm not, but we do. Every last one of us, we have our what we hold on to, and we hold on to it because we think it's right.
Yeah.
We don't cling to beliefs because we're like, "Oh, well, it's wrong, but I like it, so I'm gonna just stick to it." And that's just not what we do. I mean, I'm sure there are people who do, but as a general rule, I'm speaking in generalities, we don't. So I love that I'm gonna go into this book and I'm gonna sit down and I'm gonna read this book and I'm going to see something that I don't always see in Christian fiction because let's face it, and I'm just as guilty as the next author. Most Christian fiction is following, I don't want to say a pattern because that's a little too strong, but there's almost these are the acceptable areas that we're going to talk about. And then these over here, you can allude to them, but don't dive into them because it's a little uncomfortable, just and
Right, right.
I feel like Meg said uncomfortable. Yeah. Hold my jacket.
Let's go there together.
It's just that's what I'm getting from this. I'm getting that you said, "I don't care if it's uncomfortable. We're going to talk about it." And I love that. Even if I walk out of it still disagreeing with you, that's okay because I learned something from you. And isn't that what's important?
Yes, 100%. Yes. Yes, I've
This is going to be super cool. Oh goodness. Oh
yes,
goodness. Okay.
it was fascinating to bring in characters from the Church of Christ religion tradition and then the United Methodist tradition and and make observations about their their similarities and how
Yeah.
they carry out life even though their doctrinal and dogmatic statements are very different.
Yeah.
And so that was fascinating to be with those characters and like other guests on your show has said, listen to those characters as they were
Right.
telling me what to write. And so with their quirks and fears and motives and dialogue and yeah.
So what was the hardest part about writing this? Because my mind, I know what would be hard for me, and me writing a female pastor, that would have been like really hard. For someone else, that would be like, that's the easy part. So, what was the hardest part for you though?
Yeah, so I started preaching when I was 13 with my missionary grandparents. So I served in ministry for 20 years. So I was found it very easy to write the role of that I lived. And so the hardest part was the flip side of that coin, which was coming off as too didactic or preachy.
Yeah. Yeah. That's the hardest part about Christian fiction in general. Well, it's not even just Christian fiction. It's fiction in general. I have so much trouble with preachy fiction. I don't care if someone is passionate about ecological stuff or historical accuracy over here or this Bible doctrine or that political stance. I don't care if it fits the story and it feels the story, that's great. But if I feel like the point of the story is to make me align my thoughts with your beliefs, that's gone too preachy, and then it really bothers me. So I can understand that is the hardest thing. It's one of the hardest things for me because of course
Yeah.
I start doing that when I'm writing because I'm just talking about things I'm passionate about. And then I'm like,
Mhm.
yeah, you're pushing. So that would be hard. That would be really, really hard.
Yeah, I was so thankful for my beta readers that were other authors and editors and that held me accountable to that and made it where the dialogue sounded like this is how humans talk to each other that know each other and have been doing life
Right.
together. This is how they talk.
Okay, so this book, it says in 79 that they're in Plockton, Texas, and then we're in Rutherglen, Texas. So the whole book is basically Texas based. Is that correct?
Yes. Yes, that is correct.
Okay, let's face it, we all love a good Texas story. Just because Texas. And 1979, so she's in college in 79, 18 or spot ready to start.
Yeah,
Ah,
the we meet her on graduation night, and she's just come back from her graduation party, high school graduation. It was when we meet her. And you mentioned
ah,
Scotland, and both of my maternal and paternal lines go back to Scotland. And
mine
it's a
too.
awesome, awesome. And so Rutherglen and Plockton are obviously not Texas towns. Those are towns in Scotland, and so I honored my lineage with bringing those in to this world of. So it is. I am Texan. I'm from Texas, and so I'm honoring that part of the story. And the Southern Belle culture definitely comes in, and East Texas religion comes in. But these towns, they are fictitious. These two towns.
Oh, I love it. I love it. Okay. So, like 1979, I was 9 years old. And I'm trying to think about what the world was like when I was 9. I
Mm.
honestly think I don't think I had ever heard of a woman preaching when I was 9. I don't think I'd ever heard of it.
Yeah, let's look
So,
at
and
that.
and if you think about it, when you were 13, you were out there preaching. I mean, could we be more opposite and more the same at the same time?
Right. So true. So
That's
true.
so weird. I love it. I just I'm just really fascinated by this whole thing. I just okay. So this says that she's got this upcoming bishop nomination in 2018. So what is this a fictitious denominations or a denominations? That's a word.
And that's a
Yes.
word. Yeah, you said it, so it's a word.
Is this a fictitious denomination or is this one that we would recognize?
So it is based on the United Methodist Church, which is my denomination, and it is historically it is accurate in 2018 that is when the Methodist denomination started to seriously consider splitting over issues of human sexuality, and they did split, as we did know what
Right.
happened in the past 8 years, and so Hetty is navigating all of that while she's having while she lost her aunt. There's been these stories before her aunt died. She revealed a secret about her family, and Hetty's now God is speaking to Hetty in a new way that she's never experienced before, and in dreams and these God moments of affirmation, and she doesn't know what to do with them. And so it is representing. Yeah, there's this giant through line of sexuality, and my goal with the the 32 question book club and small group guide at the end of the book, my goal is to open honest and respectful conversation about that within ourselves as women, and how in the name of purity culture or religion we've shut that part of ourselves down, and that part of us that is worthy of being taken care of receiving help, of receiving pleasure, and so that is it's no accident that Hetty is on a macro level navigating a giant conversation around sexuality while she's a asexual workaholic herself, who doesn't even know how to listen to what her body needs. And so that is
Yeah.
long answer long. It's the United Methodist Church that she's a part of. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I was trying to I was trying to remember all the denominations that had one, and my first thought was, well, you had contrasted United Methodist and the Churches of Christ, so I was like,
Hmm.
it's probably them, but that doesn't mean anything. But I do
Right.
have
Right.
friends who are part of the United Methodist Church, and who have either split or not split, depending. And so, and one of those many churches in our town, I can see from my front door is a
Oh.
United Methodist church. So I mean, it's just like, I was like, I want to know because I have people that might like to know about this. But
Oh, I
okay.
appreciate that. I
So
appreciate that.
well, yeah. So now this book is coming out June 9th, but you have a whole fun release thing going on with it. What's that all about?
Yes, I'm so excited. With pre-orders, you get tons of goodies. And so if you just order one book early, so anytime before June 9th, you not only get the first chapter for free, but you also in your inbox immediately, but you also get a little VIP Spotify playlist that follows the book. So we got some Commodores, we got some CC Winan, some Alanis Morissette, Radiohead, Delirious. So all these great contemporary worship songs from the early aughts, but also all these great songs from the 79s and the late early 80s, Paula Abdul. So this playlist follows the book. You also get invited to, you're going to join me at a drop day live VIP Zoom launch party where we're all together, all the readers and myself, people, anybody that bought one book early, you're invited to the Zoom with me. We'll celebrate together. And then if you bump up and order 5 and you think, I have sisters, friends, a small group at my church, or a book club that really likes deep emotional themes and literary prose and complex characters, that I love all of them and I hate all of them at the same time. If you want that book for your book club, you order 5. There is a interpretation of dreams training that I do. So how do we know what dreams are just we had red dye before bed, or it's just our brain dumping memories from the day, and how do we know dreams that are similar to that in the Bible, that are like what Joseph had, um, or Daniel interpreted in the Old Testament? How do we know when our dreams are messages from God? And so I have this powerful dream interpretation training that I give to people when they order 5 or more. And then for people that are leading bigger groups, whether it's seminary professors or again Sunday schools or small groups, women's coaches who have a mastermind group or whatnot, if we order 25 or more, I come to your program and I offer a workshop for free. And I pride myself on, as Paul says, when it's in the New Testament, when it serves to be Roman, I'm Roman. When it serves to be Jewish, I'm a Jew. So I pride myself on every church I've been invited to speak in. They are all across the denominational board, because I believe that the conversations that this book opens up is for women in all denominations. And so with 25 or more, I come to your church or your program and I offer a workshop for free. And you also get a month of free coaching with me, whether that is around, pardon me, I jumped to the last tier. I'll just stay at this tier. Along with the book, I'm offering a women's community called The Treasure Within. And it's a 12-week women's community course, transformational experience that we read the book together, and I bring in all of the exercises and guides and other tools that I have led authors through the past 6 years of doing this work, that help them um, create healthy boundaries with people, that help them move from should to sovereign, help them move from perfectionist to presence, from people pleasing to passion, from duty to desire, all these buzzwords. And so in the treasure within, with 25 copies of ordered, you will get a month of that program with me and other women for free as well. So many goodies that I'm giving out for pre-order bonuses.
And the link to all that, guys, is in the show notes so that you can go and find it and do the things and all the things. So just saying, you don't want to miss the things, because
Don't miss the
that's a
things.
thingamajig. Because Shatona can word. Clearly, Shatona is just one messed up cookie tonight. First, she can't spell, and now she can't speak. But that, you know what? We live once. Making up words as I go here.
That's another form of high intelligence, making up words.
Oh, good. I'm smarter than I thought. Yeah, that's actually a blessing. Anyway, so okay. This book is coming out. Whatever, but what about another book? Is there another book waiting in the wings going, yeah, but can you get to work on me again? I mean,
Yes, definitely. Thank you for asking. Another upmarket women's fiction book for sure. And that is all I know at this time. And so, yep, my 3 books. I think I've written the same book 3 times in 3 different genres.
I
And
love it.
yep, and so I don't know if the 4th one will also touch on generational trauma and spiritual authority, and the courage it takes to reclaim a stolen life, but all 3 of my books have touched on those themes. So we'll see. We'll see if what the 4th one does too.
I think that at some point, probably all of mine at some point, touch on churches, community, and what does the Bible say? In some way, some fashion, some form. So I think all of us probably have those little parts of us that refuse not to insert themselves into some small part at the very least of a book. I mean, I just think it's because how do you keep yourself out of a book,
Mm-hmm.
you know?
Mm-hmm.
So I can see that. I can see that. So okay, if a reader was like, all right, I'm not getting a gist for what this book is like still, because some of us are slow, is there a book that says, okay, if you like this author's book or this author, if there's not a specific book, then you're probably going to like mine? Is there one that fits this? Because I'm having a hard time thinking of one.
Yes, yes. So readers who like Glennon Doyle for the religious deconstruction part, readers who like Anne Patchett's Commonwealth for fractured family dynamics, they would like this. Readers who like Sue Monk Kidd's The Secret Life of Bees for spiritual awakening that's sacred and found outside of the institution of the church, they will like this. If they really like Nicholas Sparks and the sweeping emotional intimacy that he writes with, they would like this. And if they enjoy Britt Bennett's layered secrets and her dual narrative that she uses in The Vanishing Half, they will dig this. Other authors that come to mind as comps would be Rachel Held Evans, Diana Butler Bass. Those come to mind as comps for this book.
It's really funny. I should have thought of Nicholas Sparks because you said something early on, when you were talking about, the deeply emotional, and I'm like, oh, well, that sounds a little like Nicholas Sparks. And then it just like
Yes.
went out my eyeballs and through the back of my head. It didn't even bother with the ears, and it just like it's gone, whoosh,
Yeah.
out into the ether somewhere. The Highland mists. It's trying to find Brigadoon or something, but. Listen,
Brigadoon. Love it. Love it.
yeah, you gotta love Brigadoon. I promise that I did not sing that at Glencoe, but I do not promise that I wasn't hearing it in my head. Just saying, just saying. But so good, so good. Okay, so where do readers go to find out more about you, about your books? We've got the link to the promo stuff, but about because you do more than just write fiction. You've written a memoir, you've written nonfiction, and you do coaching. So where do they go for all that?
Yes, yes. I would love to connect with your people over at megcalvin.com. And if they go there, there is a little freebie that your listeners can enjoy that's called 5 Ways to Know Which Book to Write First. Because a lot of the authors I work with, they have so many beautiful ideas and they're like, which book? They're all talking to me at once. What book wants to come out first? So, megcalvin.com. And then I'm on the socials on Instagram at Hey Meg Calvin.
Excellent, excellent. Well, this has been fun. I've kept you way longer than I meant to. Hi, sorry. How you doing? Oh, goodness. But I appreciate you coming and chatting with us. I appreciate you telling people where to find more about you and your books and your coaching services, because I know that there are authors who are out there looking for coaches. So, guys, if you're listening, you know one place to go here. But thank you. This has been a delight.
Awesome. Thank you for sharing your space with me.
Oh, this is great. Well, meanwhile, guys, I'm going to say have a good day. Go check out this good book. I think that even those who are kind of like me and this doesn't align with theology, I think you're still going to get a good story. And I think maybe we have something to learn from it. So give it a shot. There's no reason not to. And don't miss out on her pre-order bonuses. And yeah, I will chat with you guys. And hopefully Meg, when she comes back with her next book, I'm just saying, next time.